I don't personally believe in the idea of objectivity, especially in the case of art. We all have our own perceptions of what we experience, so calling something perfect or judging it based off of some predetermined scale seems pretty meaningless to me. After all, what I value in a work of art isn't going to be exactly what you value. That being said, I feel that listening to other people's opinions that differ from mine can be an interesting experience. In some cases, it can help me to see what another person values from something, and in turn, point out what I value. That's where this video is coming from, because when it comes to the 2000 OVA Fully Cooley, I've yet to see someone discuss the elements that I feel are the show's greatest strengths. When discussing any sort of media, the aspect that's brought up most frequently is the story. Narrative is what drives most art, but an aspect that I feel is often overlooked is that narrative is not a unique trait of most art forms. You'll find stories in books, games, and movies, but each medium has unique traits that sets them apart from others. With books, the blueprints for a story are laid out for a reader's imagination through text, and then put together in whatever way they imagine. With video games, the player is given an objective to fulfill, and the tools to achieve it, yet whether they succeed is based upon their own input, placing a higher importance upon the participant. With film, ideas are conveyed through the usage of editing and cinematography, communicating with the viewer through visuals, shot composition, and numerous other techniques. All of these traits are what make each medium unique, and are what might make one more engaging to someone based off of what they're able to connect to the easiest. Story is a common element in all of these, yet whenever you see discussion of any given work, importance is commonly placed upon the story rather than the usage of unique elements of a given medium. I find this strange because while I do value story quite a bit, most of my favorite works within each medium tend to play strongly to those unique traits. So how does all of this tie into Fully Cooley? Well, what separates animation from other mediums is how limitless it is. Animation at its core is film, but without the restriction of reality. Sure, in films there exist fantastical things beyond our world, but without CGI or special effects, what we're able to capture is limited to what actually exists within our world. Animation, on the other hand, is only limited to whatever the artist is able to imagine and animate. This is where the unique strengths of anime lie, and is a way Fully Cooley sets itself apart. I'm going to include a link to a series a YouTuber named Futura Clockwork is working on, where he analyzes Fully Cooley in great detail. It's great work so far, and if you're interested in all the plot Fully Cooley has to offer, I'd highly recommend it. Fully Cooley has a narrative, and a damn fine one if you ask me, but I'd be lying if I said the story was the main reason why I fell in love with it. It's a coming-of-age story of sorts that's tied to a crazy sci-fi plot, but what makes this show so special to me is how that story is portrayed, and how it uses its medium to become something wholly unique. In the show, our main character Naota has his head opened up to Inno channels by the alien Haruko, who's there to free the Pirate King Atomisk from the mysterious organization Medical Mechanica. Naota is a kid who wants to be grown up and be like his role model, his older brother, who left him and his family to go to America. However, Naota is surrounded by adults who act more like children. At various points throughout the show, Naota is pushed to points where his emotions peak, triggering the Inno channels to transport one of the robots from Medical Mechanica out of his head. While it's a bizarre plot to explain, and the eccentric way the show depicts these events can often leave the viewer with a feeling of, what the hell am I watching? That's sort of what I find beautiful about it. The absolutely insane context the show creates of a boy spitting fighting robots out of his head that he fights with guitars and other robots allows for situations that, through the power of animation, are beautiful to behold, imaginative, and downright fun to watch. The first time viewing this show can be exhausting if one is trying to keep up with its narrative, but if you sit back and take everything as it comes, it can be an energetic roller coaster ride of creativity. That's not to say that diving into the depth the narrative offers isn't something that's enjoyable, because it totally is. It's just that the 6 episodes are so densely packed and move fast enough to where it takes a few viewings to get all the show is trying to get across. I actually really like this aspect of the show because it makes it rewarding to rewatch, every time noticing little things I didn't before, and it never seems to get old. I can put on any episode of Fully Cooley and watch it from any point and have a wonderful time because almost every possible situation, moment, or frame is made interesting by its uniqueness, attention to detail, and stunning animation. The idea the production staff had to base a lot of Fooly Cooly around the motif of nostalgia has subsequently created some of the most iconic and memorable imagery of any anime I've ever seen. Like, sure, having a character flying around beating up bad guys is cool, but why not throw them in a bunny suit riding a Rickenbacker bass that doubles as a rifle or a warhammer? I can't imagine it existing in any other medium than animation, and even if someone were to recreate it, I doubt seeing things like robots coming out of Naoto's head or him being eaten then shit out by a robot would look as interesting as it does in anime. Like I was saying earlier, animation is a medium restricted only by a creator's imagination and skill as an artist, and I think Fooly Cooly is one of the best examples of what true creativity can produce in this medium. The show is full of wildly imaginative concepts brought to life through stunning animation. It tells a somewhat familiar story at its core, but does so in a wholly unique way. I like to see more anime with this sort of spirit, shows that are willing to break the norm and create new context for stellar animation, direction, and storytelling. So far in my relatively young journey through this medium, this show has been one of the experiences that stuck with me the most. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it because I sure liked making it. If you did enjoy it, I'm sure you know the drill, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I've got quite a few plans for future videos, so I hope you'll stick around to see what I have in store. If you want to keep up with my shenanigans, you can follow me on Twitter, which I usually keep updated with whatever I'm working on. Like I mentioned, the description will have a link to the series Future at Clockwork is working on regarding Fooly Cooly, and also there will be a link to the analysis Code Jesus did on it. Both are fantastic videos, and I highly recommend checking both out. Lastly, I want to recommend that you check out my friend PseudoSteph's channel, especially if you're into anime, which I would assume from you watching this video. He makes great videos similar to what I try to make, and he's especially worth checking out if you're at all into Eva like he and I are.
Quarks behave in a way that seems obviously impossible in regards to normal physics, just like Ray.
What's he talking about?
He wrote a whole book on the deep mysteries of Eva.
Eh, what?
Anyways, I've gone on long enough. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.